Welcome back. We got a lot on tap, including Crosby and Schools team up at the Mill Valley Music Fest. Your Forest is Not a Wonderland. Molly Tuttle's new band. Dylan's 2025 bust outs. Yola Tengo with lots of guests. Warren welcomes Saxon Weiss. Sonic Youth reopens the Reverb shop, plus lots more. If it's your first time, make sure you like and subscribe. Also, think about becoming a wookplus member to get exclusive content, early drops, and backstage hangs. So let's dive in. Jason Crosby, was a staple of Phil Lesh's band. He's done so much work with so many people over the year. Has a newish project called Crosby Collective, and last week they were out at the Mill Valley Music Festival with a little help from Widespread Panic's Dave Schools. The all-star lineup also included John Morgan Kimmock, Jeremy Jeffers, Tom Garna, Greg Lies, and vocalist Lamar Williams Jr., Althea Mills, and Andre Washington. The theme of the night was the mashup, with no less than 8 of them over the course of the set, including Scarlet Begonias and Zepp's Black Dog, I Know You Rider paired up with Tweezer Reprise, Casey Jones and Floyd's Eclipse, Riders on the Storm and Billie Jean, A Day in the Life in ELO's Mr. Blue Sky, which segued beautifully into the set's centerpiece of Blue Sky, Jack Straw, Dreams, and Melissa. That was followed with Band on the Run, paired with What's Going On. And then Elliot Peck joined for Swift's All Too Well, paired with U2's I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. And of course, Elliot stayed out for Crosby's probably most famous mashup, Friend of the Lithium. The Crosby Collective will reunite June 12th and 13th at Lobero Theater in Santa Barbara with Jackson Brown as a special guest. Jason Crosby also has upcoming dates with the Terrapin Family Band, Spirit Guide, a band he has with Steve Kimmock, and Jason Crosby and Friends. The annual Mill Valley Music Fest also saw powerhouse performances from Gary Clark Jr. and Nile Rodgers and Chick. Here, I should have done that. Because I'm really on this without having a producer to work with me, to say the least. Let's see. Gary Clark Jr. headlined Saturday, and he did his thing. He focused, I guess, a lot on tracks from his latest album, JPEG Raw. Sunday, Nile Rodgers and Chick closed the festival. And I guess La Freak, Good Times. I mean, wow, that had to be a throwdown Sunday night. The undercard, in addition to the Crosby Collective, there were a plethora of other great acts. Some of the names that jumped out to me was San Francisco Monophonics with their psychedelic soul, Malian guitarist Vieux Farka Touré, also known as the Hendrix of the Sahara, whose music mines West African rhythms, blues, and jazz influences, and Ghost Note, formed by members of Snarky Puppy, which is kind of funk, hip-hop, and jazz all mixed together. There were also food vendors, craft beverages, artisan booths, family-friendly activities like the Kids Village, and interactive art installations. With lineups like they curate, the Mill Valley Music Festival once again proved why it remains a beloved event in the Bay Area music scene. Okay, let's move on to stuff that isn't happening. Wonderland Forest. Wonderland Forest in Lafayette, New York, opened in 2023. I'm sure you've heard of it. Trey Band, Disco Biscuits, Twiddle have played there before. They had to cancel their whole summer slate. And I think that this is on two fronts this is happening. If you remember last year, we talked about legal complications for this venue. Two different fronts. The owners are involved in an ongoing lawsuit. Last December, 2 days before Christmas, Daniel Mastronarde initiated legal action against James Raitt, filing a complaint in New York State Court. The allegations include misappropriation of funds and unilateral decision making without proper consultation. Second, the venue is involved in a legal battle concerning local ordinances. So recently, a judge ruled that Wonderland Forest must comply with Otisco's local laws governing noise levels and mass gatherings. The venue challenged these regulations, but the court upheld the town's authority, limiting the sizes of the events to 250 attendees. And on top of that, the venue never even applied for the permits it needed. So here we are, all 2025 live music events at Wonderland Forest canceled. This summer, relocating to the Westcott Theater in Syracuse, including the Burning Daylight Festival, which is the dogs in a pile thing over Memorial Day weekend, Pigeons, the infamous String Dusters and Melt, and a leftover Keller Grateful Grass show. If you had bought tickets to them before, they're good for the new venue. Camping and ticket add-ons for those events will be automatically refunded. A few things are completely getting canceled. Jaomi and Friends of the Brothers was not rescheduled, and that was supposed to be June 26th to the 28th. Dan said, our stages will stand still and silent in the coming months, but they will do so only in anticipation of our next chapter. We don't feel this is our finale, but rather the beginning of our next crescendo, which is a great way to say we won't be back. Too many legal challenges. So let's move on to some other news. We talked about Humphreys McGee's shakeup behind the kit in a short and on Live Wednesday, but that wasn't the only shakeup over the past week. Molly Tuttle has disbanded Golden Highway. Interestingly, just as they began a year-long feature in the Country Music Hall of Fame's annual American Currents State of the Music exhibit, which runs through January of next year. Little bit before we get into her new band, the display showcases artifacts from her career. Her Fables of Barbie dress from their Ryman debut in 24, her Grammy Award for City of Gold, some handwritten lyrics, Kyle Tuttle's catsuit. Reflecting on the exhibit, Tuttle shared, it's extra special to share the display with Shelby, Kyle Dom, and Bronwyn after countless miles and performances together. Miles that seem to have come to an end after 4 years when she revealed she is turning the page with a fresh lineup consisting of Ellen Angelico, Mary Mulroney, Vanessa McGowan, and Megan Jane for an all-female band that is likely to have a louder sound. She revealed this change on Tuesday on social media. All future dates will have the new lineup, except Golden Highway will get one last hurrah at Rocky Grass in July in Colorado. Excited for the new chapter. Can't wait to get out on the road this summer with an all-new incredible band. We have been in rehearsals all week, and I can promise you won't want to miss this. The new lineup will get some work in with appearances at Grow Pro Mountain of Music Fest, the All Good Now Fest, Milwaukee Summerfest, and Mountain Jam. And she's going to do a show the 24th at the Mercury Lounge in New York City, which tickets go on sale in about an hour. When we get to 10 o'clock, they will be on sale. Meanwhile, Dylan kicked off the Outlaw Music Festival's 10th anniversary in Phoenix with a set list that shook even the most seasoned Dylanologist. We got Forgetful Heart for the first time since 2015, to Ramona, first time since 2017. Mr. Tambourine Man for the first time in 15 years, plus some choice covers. George Butler's Axe the Wind, Bobby Troop's Route 66 that Dylan hasn't played since 86. Charlie Rich's I'll Make It All Up to You. The Pogues, A Rainy Night in Soho. And we also got We Worked All Along the Watchtower. Yep, a total reorg. Exactly, to boot. I'm excited for her. I think that that's so cool that they're doing an all-female band. I really, We need more of that. It's always struck me as so strange, and I know why. There are, many reasons. Sorry about that. That, you know, it is a boys' game, but we need more women. I've always wanted to see like Nikki Gillespie. Totally. Yes. I'd like to see like Nikki Gillespie get in a band with maybe Raina Mullins and Holly Boeing or something. I don't know. We also got first La Talea since 2021 and Under the Red Sky and Scarlet Town both made their tour debuts. At 83, Dylan isn't just revisiting his legacy, he's reshaping it in real time. Some other things from that first show. Billy Strings played a tight 75-minute set that included a cover of Bad Liver's Ghost Train, a solo take on Catch and Release, and a nice run of the Fire on My Tongue, Pyramid Country, and Hide and Seek. Willie did Pearl Jam's Just Breathe with Lucas with his kid, and they closed it out. Billy Sierra Hall, Lily Maloa, and the rest of Billy's band came out. Will the Circle Be Unbroken? I'll Fly Away. So that's pretty fantastic. I am excited. All right, and now it's time for the All right, this past weekend and early this week, Yo La Tengo kicked off their 4-night residency at the Chapel in San Francisco. And they had guests. They had lots of guests, which is just the greatest thing ever because Yo La Tengo is one of my favorite bands. Just so interesting, so out of the box. But night one, Friday, they brought out Meg Braird and Charlie Soulfully to close out the second set. They are from a band, Hair in Oblivion. Meg was on drums, Charlie on guitar. They did a jammed out I Heard You Looking. Then in the encore, they busted out a cover of the Grateful Dead's The Golden Road. And Charlie stuck around for Tom Verlaine's Breaking in My Heart. And they wrapped things up with Sandy Denny's Time It Gets Dark. I mean, look at those covers. Grateful Dead, Tom Verlaine, and Sandy Denny. I mean, that's just wow. Then on Saturday night, Robin Hitchcock rolled in. Now, he's played with them, I know, in 17 and 19 before, and he joined them for their whole encore. Hey, Mr. E. No problem. I love doing this for you, man. They kicked it off with the Velvet Underground's Beginning to See the Light and then dove into Pink Floyd's Lucifer Sam. They closed it down with Tomorrow Never Knows by the Beatles, which is cool if you can get into Hitchcock's voice. I mean, that's like a history of the dirty psychedelic from the late 60s there. So fun. Monday saw Orange Peel's John Moorman on 3 Flaming Groovies tunes in the encore. Have You Seen My Baby, Slow Death, and Childhood Ends? And the Chapel Run wrapped up Tuesday night. No guests, but they did do a cover of NRBQ's What Can I Say? And Sun Ra's Somebody's in Love. All right, let's talk Warren Haynes. I love Warren Haynes. I do not love what Government Mule came after Woody passed, but he's got his Warren Haynes band, and they rolled into the Majestic Ventura Theater on Saturday as part of the Million Voices Whisper tour. The band was locked in from the jump. They worked through a bunch of Warren solo stuff, Go Down Swinging, This Life as We Know It off his new record, plus some older deep cuts like Sick of My Shadow, which had a nice Blue Sky tease in it. Then midway through the second set, 12-year-old guitar phenom Saxon Weiss, pictured, stepped on stage and lit the place up. Warren handed him the spotlight for a searing version of That's What Love Will Make You Do, the Little Milton tune that Jerry Band made famous. And Saxon played like he was born to do it. There were definitely Derek Trucks kind of vibes. It was one of those beautiful moments where you could see Warren and bassist Kevin Scott exchanging proud looks with the kid. Dare I say there was a torch passing? The second set also had a Monster Invisible with some Feeling All Right teases, and of course some Almonds with LeBrays in A minor, and the obligatory encore of Soulshine. This may be a performance that fans talk about for years to come. All right, Sonic Youth. Who is a Sonic Youth fan out there? I discovered them on their Sonic Death tape years ago. I was probably 16 and I bought it because it just looked so weird. It had a bald chick on the cover and just Sonic Death written on the spine, no songs, and I found something that I really love. So mark your calendars on the 21st, next Wednesday. Sonic Youth is reopening their Reverb shop. It's the third time they've done this since first launching the gear sale. How we doing, Chad? Colonel Foreman? Oh, nice, nice. I'm glad to hear it, Chad. All right, so some of the highlights of what they're selling. A modified Fender Jazzmaster, Lee Ronaldo's first electric guitar, a Hagstorm 2, a Ludwig Phase 2 synthesizer used on the Diamond C, custom parametric EQ used on Confusion is Sex, some studio monitors from the original Knitting Factory in New York City, and then there's a Mutron that was used on Washing Machine and 1,000 Leaves, an original Fox Tone machine, an acoustic guitar played by Ronaldo at Neil Young's Bridge School benefit, and then a bunch of other stuff, even down to like stamp pads used to hand paint chord chart images. So if you're a collector, a musician, or a Sonic lifer, this is a fantastic opportunity. All right. So let's get into some tough news out of Austin. I don't know if you've seen this. I believe that it's made the national media, but a band called Lord Buffalo had to cancel their entire European tour after their drummer Yamal said was removed from a flight and detained by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. This happened Monday at Dallas Fort Worth International, and as of now, what we're hearing is, here's what they put on Facebook. We are heartbroken to announce we have to cancel our European tour. He has not been released and we have been unable to contact him. We are currently working with an immigration lawyer. And then later they posted, thank you for your outpouring of support. It means the world to us. Our drummer has secured legal representation he needs, and we are waiting to hear what comes next. We want to reiterate that we truly don't know what's going on. We have more questions than answers, but we'll keep you posted as much as we can. At this time, the family asks for privacy as they navigate this situation. Of course, in the meantime, the other band that was going on tour with them, Osek Oslo, yeah, right, Mr. E, isn't that crazy? Is continuing with their shows, and Lord Buffalo says everyone should go out and check out Osek Oslo. We hope this gets resolved quickly. I mean, and as I hear more, I will keep you posted. Now we're going to make an awkward jump here because I don't have any more pictures. I'm actually only allowed to have so many pictures. So let's do it this way and then this. And look, hey, I have my frame again. What do you think of the new frames there, guys? That's pretty fancy stuff. I was debating the little red faded outline, but I'm digging it. All right. Some albums keep your eyes out for. North Mississippi Allstars are back in action. They have a new single, Don't Let the Devil Ride. It's still, same thing, fiery, soul-drenched. They have an album coming up, Still Shaking, that's out June 6th on New West Record. The track is a cover of Bishop Neil Robertson's Gospel Blues Burner. And there's a lyric video and some Sacred Steel energy with it. Thank you, Forbin. Luther Dixon shared how the song became part of their live repertoire. For the past year or so, Joey Williams of the Blind Boys of Alabama has been closing our shows with this one, and we wanted to bottle that vibe in the studio. They brought in Kashia. Yeah, I love North Mississippi Allstars. Kashia Hunter on Sacred Steel. Do you guys, any of you, hey, Restless Eric, any of you guys ever see a band called The Word that was North Mississippi, Robert Randolph, and John Medeski? I saw them at 930 Club once, and I walked out of there, and I was like, I'm going on tour with The Word. This is the greatest thing ever. But I think they put out an album, but I can't say that they toured much past that. So Don't Let the Devil Ride is out now. Album drops June 6th. Consider yourselves warned. In news of no less epic proportions, the Lemonheads are back. Do you like the Lemonheads? Love Chant, their first album of original tunes in 20 years, and they just dropped a taste of what's to come. Yeah, I was lucky. I was very lucky back in the day. I lived so close to 930, and bands always came through DC. They hit 930. The Lemonhead's new track is called Deep End, which has Dinosaur Jr.'s Jay Mascis, and it has a B-side. So it is a true signal with Town Van Zant's Sad Cinderella on the other side. They recorded it in Brazil with producer Apollo Nove at his A9 Audio Studios. And the track, besides having Jay on it, also has Juliana Hatfield on background vocals. So that's a great single. They're hitting the road again. They have a tour in Australia and New Zealand that I guess the first show is happening right now because they're 12 hours ahead of us. So it's about 9:21 at night over that way. One more thing, we're getting an archival release on June 20th from Greg Allman at the Bayou in DC via his via his label, Soulright Records. The recording was pulled from a May 15th, 1984 show at the Bayou in DC. Yeah, see, everyone loves the Bayou in DC. They dropped Dreams, which was the set opener, as a preview. If you look at the set list, it has some Allman staples, Hotlanta, Statesboro, Trouble No More, One Way Out, stuff from the solo catalog, Yours for the Asking, and Faces Without Names, which interestingly at the time were not released and were released 2 years later on I'm No Angel, whenever that one came out. Paul Stumas, thank you to boot. You know those letters are jumping around on me. The band included Danny Toller, Frankie Toller, Greg Vorse, Bruce Waybell, Chaz Trippy, and Tim Heeden on second keyboards. So, you know, I love these time capsule things. You know, I wouldn't want have to listen to a whole tour of Greg Allman, but you know, I feel like one show I'm excited for this. He was really on fire from what that first sound sounds like. So, sounds like everything clicked that night. So from shows that happened, now let's go to
the first thing you should bring is tickets.
Bring a tarp.
Bring a ground cover because it gets pretty wet.
Money, yeah, lots of money.
That's right, bring lots of money. CBGB is back, sort of. The spirit of New York punk is alive and well. They're doing a festival, the 2025 CBGB Festival, one-day blowout, Saturday, September 27th, under the K Bridge in Brooklyn. It's presented by the Bowery Presents, and it's a really full circle thing from the lineup. Top names headlining: Iggy Pop, first New York appearance in over a decade. Jack White is going to be there, but then the lineup gets really interesting. We got The Damned, Johnny Marr, Marky Ramone, Cro-Mags, Melvins, Murphy's Law. Oh my God. And then a bunch of newer bands that I don't really know much about: Scroll, Destroy Boys, Soul Glow, Gorilla Biscuits. Gorilla Biscuits sounds like a Gorilla Toss Disco Biscuits mashup. That would be crazy. So pre-sale goes on sale yesterday. They went on sale at 10 a.m. I'm sure that there's still tickets available. I think that's a pretty big space. And remember, punk's not dead. It's just been waiting for the right lineup. If punk is not your thing, how about some bluegrass? Billy Strings is not slowing down anytime soon. He announced 2025 fall tour, and it's a big one, stretching from the eastern and southern U.S. to the UK and Europe. Yep, back to Europe. He's wrapping up his Canadian summer run. He does a quick acoustic trio tour with Brian and Royal, and then he heads overseas for his first dates in Europe since 2023. Starts in Oslo. We get Copenhagen, London's Royal Albert Hall. Wow, London's Royal Albert Hall. That's huge. And he wraps up in Dublin on October 12th. When he gets back to the States, we got a 3-night run in Huntsville, and then Thank you, Billy. I will promise you, Billy, I will make it this year. Baltimore and Halloween again. Last year they did "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," and if you look at my butt, you can see I'm still kicking myself from not doing that. So the dates run through the end of the year. Check that out. He does take off for Thanksgiving for a few days. I guess with a kid and a wife, you got to do that. Billy just keeps going. All right, another rolling thing. Mumford & Sons. Yes, Halloween in Charm City, the city that breeds. I mean, the city that reads. My fault. Mumford & Sons are reviving their Railroad Revival Tour for the first time since 2011. They're traveling by train with a rotating house band that includes Chris Tilley, Lucius Trombone Shorty, Nathaniel Raycliffe, and more. Each stop, New Orleans, Spartanburg, Richmond, Essex Junction, is a one-night only collaborative jam session on wheels. Marcus Mumford calls it unfinished business on the Great American Railroad. The tickets go on sale in about 35 minutes. Yeah, I'm, Mumford & Son is good background music. If someone has it on, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, turn that off. But I can't say that I ever would throw it on. So we got the Farm Aid announcement September 20th in Minneapolis. Willie, Neil, John, Dave Matthews, and Tim Reynolds, Trampled by Turtles, Billy Strings, Margot Price, and more at the Huntington Bank Stadium, which people are already complaining about. Yeah. That's what I saw the pictures, Eric. It is fantastic. This place is the geographical oddity. It's 3 days from everywhere. Willie, all right, let's get back to farming. Willie says family farmers aren't backing down, and neither are we. Tickets go on sale in 33 minutes. Let's wish an early happy birthday to one of my favorite guitar players from the Airplane and Hot Tuna. Jorma is turning 85, and he's throwing himself a 4-city birthday bash starting in his hometown of DC on November 1st. He plays the Warner Theater with Steve Kimmock and Jim Lauderdale. If you don't know about Jim Lauderdale, I interviewed him over on All That Jam. The guy is just fantastic. He wrote with Hunter. Right, because it ain't loud enough. He wrote songs with Hunter. He's just a fantastic thing. He has like 16, 17 albums. You should go check that interview out. Let's see. Jorma then hits Carnegie Hall on the 29th. San Francisco's Masonic on December 5th, and then the 13th at Denver's Paramount Theater. So make sure you check that out. I can probably get to the DC show. I don't live that far. Meanwhile, Joe Russo's Almost Dead is keeping the dead flame burning bright with even more summer dates. After a killer spring run, Las Vegas with O'Teal Burbridge, New Orleans with Brantford, they're headed to upstate New York for a two-night stand August 8th and 9th, followed by a show in Jay, Vermont on the 10th. This will lead into their festival sets at All Good Now, Mountain Jam, and then they wrap up summer with a 3-night Colorado run in late August. And other news, JRAD is simply fantastic. They turned the Grateful Dead cover thing on its head because they approached the catalog. I feel like Miles approached the Great American Songbook, like you'd get Surrey with a fringe on top or something. And yeah, they do it. I can see where people are annoyed with it, and I can't say I'd go on tour and see it, but they're close. I'll see them. Widespread. Would you rather go see Widespread or Fish in Mexico? Because this Widespread thing, January 20th through 24th at Panic and Le Playa Trece, is at the Hard Rock Hotel in Riviera Maya. So they didn't do it last year because of Jimmy Herring's cancer treatment, but they are back with it, and we are getting sets from Circles Around the Sun, Aggie, Sierra Hall, Karina Reichman, the Playa All-Stars featuring Eric Krasno, Ivan Neville, Jennifer Hartswick. Cloud9 Adventures, the team putting it on top tier. They're the team behind Jam Cruise, Strings and Soul, and more. There's going to be beachside stages, curated food and drink options, and daily activities like yoga, games, theme parties, all in a close-knit setting. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's all at the one hotel. Returning guests, May 20th. Everyone else, May 21st at 1. Also, as always, Positive Legacy will be on site to lead environmental and humanitarian initiatives that give back to the local community, continuing the Playa tradition of service and sustainability. As much as I'm not a huge widespread guy, I really don't like his voice. I appreciate so much what they do, and God bless them for staying out there and keeping it real. Warren Haynes is also good. I hear you, Chad. I hear you, man. The variety of bands is part of it. But you know, you go to a fish festival, that's their whole shtick. It's just us. Hey. Warren Haynes is also heading over to Europe in July. He's got London, Milan, Paris, a couple Denmark shows from July 1st to the 13th. Right, only 20K a couple to do both right. God, I hope I make that much this year. Finally, let's talk North Mississippi Allstars, who just announced their Fall 25 tour that's going to be behind the album we mentioned earlier. It kicks off September 16th in California. They're going to hit Solana Beach, Ventura, San Francisco, Tahoe. Then it loops around to the Southeast Midwest before wrapping up in Memphis and St. Louis in October. Tickets in 28 minutes. You know the drill. And that should wrap things up for this morning. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're feeling generous, consider becoming a member for access to exclusive content and community hangs. We're out there on all the major social platforms if you need more between shows. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.